Oh.
In the original game, the sixth world...
It annoys
Isn't
me
a
how big
fucking
this
planet.
level is.
Ironically, despite being the smallest planet, Pluto was the largest and most diverse world in the game. Entropy had a different layout, but was similarly huge and diverse. The board music was played by a violin instrument. Again, this is a NES chip. You don't know that. A melody
Violin-based music.
Violin. This is like Dark World Paul. A melody that started out sounding mournful and then it gets rather, I guess I would call it,
Erotic.
distorted.
Oh.
It made me feel depressed and something I would want to hear while trying to sleep. But don't play it when you're going to sleep. Strangely, none of the levels from the previous world were present here. Instead, there were 8 brand new icons. The bosses this time were Megalon, Batra, and Mecha Godzilla.
Oh.
It's Godzilla, but in Mecha. As usual, the first thing I did was go to the quiz level for another interrogation from Face.
Great.
But
Yay.
when I got there, I noticed something different. Instead of the usual
hopefully the music
goofy
was good. Yes.
Zero RA music, it was the password theme.
Oh. It was the Lavender Turn theme.
Basically, yeah. I fucking love the password theme so much. The music change seemed to be intentional, because after the first 2 questions at the start, the quiz started to take on a darker tone. Do you like ice cream? Yes.
No.
Brain freeze.
What is
Clearly
that?
has an entire popsicle in his mouth.
Do you like clowns? Yes. Do you
Oh.
live in a society? Is time slipping through your fingers?
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have any regrets? Yes. Do some
Aw.
people deserve to die? No.
Yep.
Is it safe to
Ooh,
go?
bad answer.
Is it safe to go out at night? Yes. That makes me horny and angry.
Slightly just. It's the DreamWorks face.
Oh god.
Oh.
It is. Oh shit. You can't escape it.
Do you find it hard to sleep at night? Yes. That's because ninjas are waiting to kill you.
What's this, heavy rain?
Have you ever killed anyone? No. 6 feet under? I don't
How about an Australian?
Do you want to kill anyone?
Ben, are you
No.
implying that Australians are not people?
Look,
You said it, not I.
I think, again, this is a logical fallacy. You've killed loads of monsters in this game, and basically just pointing out that you have.
Monsters aren't people. I mean, what?
You fucking racist. Speciesist.
Monsters.
Are you actually accomplishing anything? No. Apart from robot cigarette guy.
What is that meant to be? Oh, is it sideways? Oh no, it's a guy
No.
wearing a monocle and has a
Monocle, yeah.
mustache. And-
Yeah, and he's got a... Yeah, it's... With a cigar. Does life have any real meaning?
Quite the question. I
Like
don't know what you
Mothra.
answered.
Do you like Mothra? No.
Aw. Oh,
Last
no.
one was going to be a gameplay related question, but I had no idea what the result would be. I answered honestly because I never liked Mothra. Nobody liked playing as Mothra in this game for that. When Mothra gets hit, she gets slammed back to the left corner of the screen. Because her attacks are so weak. The only benefit...
Okay, Paul, you're really breaking up.
Okay, where was I in my Mothra run?
Your entire Mothra screed basically was it was enhanced by you cutting in and out.
Okay, right.
And there you're.
How big? Right. Ben?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody liked playing as Mothra in this game, and there was a good reason for that. Every other time Mothra gets hit, she gets slammed back into the left corner of the screen, and she sucks at fighting because her attacks are so weak. The only benefit Mothra had was being able to fly over all obstacles. So I answered no, and Face actually replied back to me, not only with the maniacal expression, but with
What with what?
too bad!
But with tits.
I was taken back to the map screen, and I was shocked to see Godzilla and Angurius had disappeared from the board, leaving only Mothra. Face had just fucked me over. Needless to say, I was pissed, but there wasn't anything I could do, and I'm willing to bet even if I had said yes, I would have been stuck with Mothra anyway. Face giveth, and face taketh away.
I guess you have to face up. Oh, fuck it, no.
No, just abort that before you can.
Can't be arsed.
I took a deep
Hi.
breath and got ready to explore. There were 2 paths I could take through the board. I decided to take the lower one. This turned out to be a good choice for reasons I'll get to momentarily. The first world ahead of me was a forest, so I started there.
Ooh.
Almost immediately, I got
That's
an
not for-
eerie feeling.
This is the forest from Super Mario World, isn't it?
Castlevania?
Yeah.
Or that, yeah.
There was something about it. It's just forest level from every 8-bit game.
That's true.
There was something about this level that just seemed off to me, even more than the previous ones. Perhaps it was the pitch black background. I've always been afraid of being in a forest. What is this guy not afraid of?
I've always been afraid of going upstairs.
Everything.
I'm afraid
always
of
been
going
afraid
to the
of-
bathroom in case the laughing cow is in there.
My God, I think we've cracked it then. I think we know who's playing this now. I've always been
Fucking.
afraid of being in the forest at night. Something about it, all these trees make me feel surrounded and vulnerable. And the fact that I was stuck as Mothra didn't help. Playing the game's previous worlds as Godzilla gave me a feeling of bravery, being in control of the King of Monsters. I'd be able to handle just about anything my way. Fucking hell, it actually fits. She fucking fits. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll do a separate reading of this as TV later on, okay? Just the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
later. Not now.
Yeah.
But it's not like that with Mothra. No feeling of strength or security. Now I'm just a weak, easily overwhelmed bug, traversing into the unknown. Back to the level. The music had new instruments sounding like woodwinds, followed by slow rhythmic drums and chiming bells. It gave me this feeling that I was intruding into some dangerous place I really should not be.
The forest.
After a while, I encountered the first enemies of the stage, or at least I assumed they were enemies. They were strange, long-legged deer-like creatures. Instead of attacking, they were just idly walking around. I went to approach them and they ran away. I thought about shooting one with an eye beam to see what would happen, to see if I could, but it seemed wrong. These creatures were harmless, so I passed over them and continued through the level. About halfway through, I encountered groups of
Yeah, give us your money! Oh wait, no, that's not a gun. Holding them up.
It does, it looks like a gun. I encountered groups of the deer-like animals, and also 2 new creatures.
Cool.
Are you alright?
Yep.
A sloth-like creature with a beak climbing on a tree, and hairy raptor-esque beasts that were preying on the deer. It was very surreal watching the creatures interact. Gotta love that haunted cartridge machine learning. I didn't feel it like I was playing a video game, but rather that I was traveling through a forest in some other dimension. The creatures ignored me for the most part, although the raptors did attack us, or if I attacked them first. I know I shot one of them to help one of the deer creatures escape. I got clawed at, but confrontation was easily avoided by flying up to the top of the screen. After that, I had to choose whether I wanted to play the levels with the hourglass or the TV screen.
No, do more forest level. They're really fun and interesting.
Oh, this is the first TV screen, guys. Just wait for this. What I got was not at all what I expected.
Oh fuck! What?
No.
When I pressed the button to start a level on the TV screen like I normally would, this screen with an animation popped up. There was also music in the background, which was the goofy GH1 music that used to be playing in. I was somewhat unsettled by this because it was just so strange. I also found it a bit spooky because I had a shirt that when I was a kid.
You had a shirt when you were a kid.
I had a short when I was a child too.
I also had a lollipop when I was a child. I was also a beaver. This whole thing was just me. After starting the animation, you could go back to the board pressing any button. After that, I had no what to expect of the rest of these icons. I want to try an hourglass icon next. I was somewhat relieved when an actual level came up.
The
It's
clock
time
area.
to play.
Oh, the clock is so close from 4:20.
We'll have to finish this chapter soon because we haven't got much time to finish it.
Let's just watch
Oh,
the
Paul's
rest of the photos.
clocking out.
Oh dear. Yes, yes, yes. It was certainly an unorthodox looking level.
I was really trying hard not to laugh.
All brown, with time measuring instruments floating in the air, and gigantic grandfather clocks in the background. The music was the same as the board screen, so the guy doing the OST didn't have to do it again. And very early in the level, I encountered something else I didn't expect to see. Original enemies from the game! And not just that, it seemed to be a whole fleet of them. And the yellow tanks, which are normally immobile. Anyway, I took some damage, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. But the most interesting thing about this level was the coloured hourglass items.
Ooh.
There were 3 of these. This is a time-based level, so there's lots of time things, as you may have guessed. A blue hourglass that made time slow down and filled the level with enemies from the past. A red hourglass that made time speed up and filled the level with enemies from the future. A green hourglass that set time to the normal speed and filled the level with the original game enemies.
It's a fucking crystal maze.
I encountered the blue hourglass first. As stated, the game started to slow down and I saw the enemies from the past, which were 5 different types of prehistoric animals.
Fucking dinosaurs, yes!
Yeah, dinosaurs.
It's fucking the dinosaur alien zombie canon continues.
Yeah, it's Dino Crisis, but on the NES and haunted.
Dino Crisis 0.5.
I don't know much about 0.5, like 0.1, I think. I don't know much
I'm just
about
upset that you're
prehistory.
playing as a moth when it came to fighting the fighter jets.
Yeah.
I don't know much about prehistory, but I believe all of these enemies represent real animals. Or at least that's what Godzilla 1 in 1974 told me. The level went into another segment and I encountered the green hourglass, and then I fought the original enemies again. It was the same 5 types, so I didn't take any screenshots. But in the last segment, I encountered the red hourglass, and the enemies that must have been from the future.
The
No.
future is now.
Now, whether or not the game was showing me...
Claw having a shit.
He took the shit. Disgusting.
Yeah, we finally found out who took the shit. That's the most important part of the red hourglass.
It was me. Disgusting.
It was me. Disgusting. Now, whether or not the game was showing me 8-bit renditions of creatures that will actually exist thousands of years into Earth. Thousands? Thousands?
Hang on. The light greeny blue one at the top has a giant anus.
Oh my god, yeah. That is
Wow.
gaping.
That is a perfect match for the gun call.
Yeah, it's a shame they never had a chance to meet.
If this was OK Cupid, they would be like 100% match. But yeah, oh no, it's in the future, so it's... Oh. That's such a sad story. This music is so appropriate.
Like if you
Anyway.
cry every time.
Now, whether or not the game is showing me 8-bit renditions of creatures that will actually exist thousands of years into Earth's future, I have no idea. But with that thought in mind, I found this particular segment to be very eerie, and it was made more tense because everything moved faster. One of the future enemies bore a striking resemblance to something I saw in a book once called Trudon Man. I think he made that up.
Trudon Man, the man with the power to control Trudons.
Another looked like some kind of organic spaceship, and also with a massive anus.
Yeah.
There was only one of the fifth type of future creature, and when it appeared, all the others ran for their lives, leaving me alone to battle it.
It's me.
Oh no, it's the alien with a red suit on and no face. Terrifying. It could fly, but its sprite didn't actually move because the animator was lazy. And its single attack was firing a lightning bolt from its face, even though it was surprisingly powerful, and I suppose it could be considered a mini-boss. After defeating it, it left a health power-up that restored the health and energy I'd lost fighting it, which was convenient. It seemed I would need all the help I could get to beat this world with Mothra alone. After the previous stage I call Time Warp, the next stage appeared to be a toxic waste dump.
Sorry.
That's magic material.
Yeah, it is. I was about to make a moon joke, but yeah, that is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's
a
common.
magic material. What's that?
Nothing.
No fancy.
Oh,
Creme Croc Industries.
As you can see, the place looked grunging and inhospitable. The music was a short looping of an ambient synthesizer song. Listening to...
Oh god, it's a DJ Paul original.
I'm glad you said that, because listening to it made me feel like I had sniffed some toxic fumes myself, and it was messing with my head the whole time. I even felt like I was choking while playing this level.
Just like DJ Paul.
The enemies all seem to be mutated to some degree. In the above screenshot you can see green mummies with bird skulls that jump out of the waist to spit projectiles. There's also a brownish cow skeleton monster with spider legs. Cool!
Please tell me it says cool.
Bodacious.
Awesome.
Tubular.
Halfway through the
Radical.
level I even saw one of the deer from the forest. It
Okay,
was
this is
alone.
fucking weird, but a bunch of clouds just moved out the way and I can literally see the moon right now.
Fucking hell. Is it green?
No, it's
Aw.
moon shaped and
Has any of the enemies in the game suddenly turned to look at you, Ben?
that. Oh yeah, it did.
Oh god.
No.
Fuck.
The moon.
So
Oh,
what
he's
does the deer monster look like in profile? Is he cool?
That is that is profile, Paul.
Oh fuck. What does the deer monster look like in the other thing that face does?
It's actually perfectly 2D, so you can't see
Oh, okay. Never mind. So he just disappeared then. How do you know he's
Yeah.
looking at you?
because he disappeared. Duh.
Anyway. Do you think the moon's green because it's also covered in toxic waste? That they send all their
Yeah.
toxic waste to the moon? That's it.
How dare
Classic.
they? Those motherfuckers. How dare they send a mixture to the moon?
And then in the background, you just see Brian Cox in a fucking rampage, killing everything.
That's what this game is. He made it in revenge.
Halfway through the level, I even saw one of the deer from the forest. It was alone, and when I saw it, it was drinking toxic waste out of a barrel with an anteater-like tongue. I was moving over to try to make it stop, but then this flock of skullbirds came out of nowhere and started attacking.
Is that a jump scare?
No. The deer was scared by this and ended up running off the ground. You are fucking terrified about this jump scare, aren't you?
Yeah.
And ended up running off the ground into the toxic waste. One of the birds bit me, and I got rabies, but I regained health quick from killing another week.
From what?
Killing.
I got health from murder.
Laugh, I know it's just my fucking mic. Because it's like, this is a normal sentence. Anyway.
Yeah.
I pressed onward.
No!
All the levels in entropy, this is probably the most normal, apart from the toxic waste moon. And that there was little deviance from the move forward, smash things formula in the original game. I
He seems
encountered
to-
more creatures through the level, like tentacle blobs, and some kind of deformed thing with human-like teeth.
The author's kind of fallen in love with his own product now because he's like saying, "This is so much better than the original Godzilla. Why wasn't I put in charge of it?"
To be fair, the original Godzilla game is fucking terrible. Like, it's really bad.
Yeah, and this
It's
is
really
clearly a
bad
masterpiece.
game. Oh yeah, it is, absolutely.
Look, you have to jump over things. Revolutionary game design.
Or in Mothra's case, just fucking fly over them.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like provoking them into a fight, so I kept on flying near the top of the screen. I still had to deal with the occasional flock of birds now and then. At the end of the level was a large bluish-green lake, and there I encountered another mini-boss. That's the deer that fell in.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's the
wow.
deer. That's the noise a deer makes, by the way.
Deer of wisdom.
Yeah.
Is that not an actual enemy from Metroid?
From
Oh,
Metroid.
Kraid. No,
I suppose it could.
Kragan.
No, it looks like a yapper, yapping maw thing.
Oh yeah, right enough, yeah. Some kind of a monster with a long neck and a whale's skull. It attacks with a mouth projectile by charging into you.
Oh,
could
it's
also-
SCP-1 unkillable.
Yeah, right enough, yeah. It could also go underneath the water and rapidly emerge from a different place. I should also point out this is the only screen cap of it, so you have to take his word for it.
It's great.
It was so
Yeah.
cool, I swear.
Yeah.
And then David Schwimmer came out and said, "You won't believe how good this game is."
Hi, I'm David Schwimmer. I'm swimming through the depths. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. It was harder to beat than the boss from the time warp.
We
Had a
were
lot
on
of
a
health.
break.
What?
In the time warp, if you hit
To
one of
avoid the boss, I had to pivot.
in the time warp, when you hit the fucking red hourglass and you go into the future, David Schwimmer is still saying they were on a break. Anyway, it was
I
harder to beat
provoked
than
the
the boss
enemy
from
by
the
eating
time
its
warp.
sandwich.
Bye. God.
And it had a lot of health because it must have taken me 3 minutes to defeat it. My god. It let out a really loud noise when it died. That's not the jump scare.
No.
And then sank back into the water. Okay, 3, 2, 1. No.
No.
And then sank back into the water as I left the screen. Back on the board, I went to the nearest level icon I hadn't seen yet, which was a white tree. As I guessed, the level was a winter-themed recolor of the forest stage.
Ooh, Winter Wonderland.
But unlike the regular forest, I didn't feel unnerved starting this one. I think the music had a lot to do with it. It was a gentle, calm song, sounded almost romantic. It was quite stress-relieving, and the forest itself looked much less ominous covered in snow. I travelled through the first segment enjoying the atmosphere for 4 minutes. 4 minutes!
Fucking
4
hell.
minutes.
4 minutes.
Oh no, the
He
game's
spent,
crashed.
like,
F and
He
chat.
spent, yeah. He spent like 2 hours of this game just going through empty levels
I know!
and talking about how much better it is than the original Godzilla.
When suddenly I realised something. I haven't seen a single creature since I started the level. This is not uncommon. Where are all
It's
the
like the
animals?
third chapter in which this has
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Soon after, I left the screen, and the next segment started.
I completed a
second
segment, and the
segment.
next segment started.
And then something scary
The
happened.
second segment, I was
The end.
but now the music was gone. I travelled for 50 minutes, starting to feel suspicious. But then I reminded myself that there were other empty levels in the game, and this was likely another one of these. But I heard something familiar. It was the 12-second looping music from Unforgiving Cold starting up. I could feel my heart sink as I came across this horrible sight.
Oh shit.
It was a whole group of dead deer creatures covered in snow.
Oh dear.
Judging from the blackish blue tone of their skin, they must have all frozen to death.
What a
On
dreary
closer
sight.
inspection, some were missing body parts. Now I was frightened of this haunted game.
Not a one of them had a penis.
but I
You
still
could
had to
say
keep
that the
going.
game froze.
You could say that those deer needed to chill.
What killed the deer? The Ice Age.
I knew I needed to stay cool if I was going to complete this game.
Cool.
Before exiting the level, I was really hoping to see something resembling the previous forest animals in a living state, and sure enough, I did. It was a
Hi.
creature much like the beak sloth, except this thing had white fur and was more of a beak gorilla. It was walking very slowly when I saw it, but I was happy to at least see something alive.
Maybe it was
However,
just a sloth covered in snow.
it didn't stay that way for long. A pack
Oh,
of
shit.
raptors, who must
Right
have
in the
sensed that
ass.
something else was still alive, came rushing in from the right side of the screen.
It still looks like a gun. Give me your money.
Yeah, it does.
Your money or your life, see?
Give me your money, but in winter now.
I want all the Bitcoin you've got.
The beak gorilla didn't stand a chance, as one of the raptors immediately lunged at it and ripped open its back legs. These winter raptors acted far different from their temperate relatives. While the other raptors only attacked while hunting prey or when provoked, the winter raptors seemed to have all gone insane. They attacked everything in sight. One was running back and forth clawing at nothing. Even the noises they made sounded different, more high-pitched and enraged.
I know the phrase "everything in sight" is meant to mean living things, but I choose to believe it's everything they see. Fucking tree, bush,
Fuck you,
ground,
dude! Fuck you, snow!
my own
Every
hand.
dead deer.
As I left this second segment, I even saw two raptors fighting to the death. They were both covered in injuries, and one of the
raptors fighting.
They were both covered in injuries, and one of the raptors had been blinded in one eye. I took a screenshot, but I didn't stay to see who won the fight.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe
Something,
it's not one
oh
of
no,
them-
something interesting's happening. Better get out of here. Back to flying through things for 9 minutes.
Yes, exactly. I only had to get through one more segment before I could go back to the board screen. But in this segment, I was no longer in the winter forest, but instead a very empty, grassy plain
The moon.
with a bright
Look at
grey
that
moon
fucking
in the sky.
You have to do
Don't-
this entire level in a Brian Cox voice.
Ben, Stephen, I know this sounds really weird, but don't get attached to that moon.
What? What do you
What?
mean? What are you doing to the moon?
What do you moon? And this is when things start to happen.
Oh.
The pleasant music of Winter Forest Part 1 had returned. And immediately, I started to feel dread. This is going to sound crazy, but it's the absolute truth. The game made this level from one of my memories.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh no.
After a long stretch of nothing, I reached a lake. And then, the moon moved down from the sky and began to hatch like an egg.
Who could be in there?
Please,
Well,
Brian
it-
There
Cox.
be fucking Brian
Brian
Cox in
Cox.
there.
Okay, right. That's the end of the stream. The canonical ending is that it's Brian Cox in the moon.
Fucking Photoshop. Whoever's in there, I want a Photoshop of it actually being Brian Cox.
When it
I'm a
did.
star
Okay.
child.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Yeah.
When it did, a curled up humanoid figure fell into. Is Brian Cox's
No.
son or daughter?
No fucking ways. It's me.
Curled up humanoid figure fell into the lake as the moon halves quickly.
Quickly
X
what?
in the chat for the moon.
The moon halves what?
Disintegrated.
Alright, okay.
I
No!
heard a splash when it hit the water, and a moment of silence. Then the screen began to shake, and a new creature emerged from the water.
No!
Now it's run you to kill Mothra.
It's me!
I was born of the
Brian!
moon. Brian Moonbeast.
Brian Coxtrosity!
And
It's
thus,
me, Giant Cox.
it was introduced to a monster.
I'm the giant Cox!
Anyway, and thus I was introduced to a monster I call the Moonbeast. This was the only screenshot I took because I was focusing all my concentration on winning the fight, and it was the most difficult fight yet. Stronger than any of the previous bosses, this creature would have been hard to deal with Godzilla, and with Mothra, it seemed nearly impossible. He says, whilst not detailing any of the attacks or what it does.
So I won easily because I'm huge, I'm great, and I've got a massive dick.
I suppose I would consider myself fortunate that the beast lacked any attacks like Gigan's Saw. I keep saying this, but I don't know what it means.
Or chainsaw dick. Just
No,
say
it's
chainsaw
not,
or
it's something
minigun
else.
dick. Say that.
Because if it
That's
had,
my frame of reference. Minigun dick equal powerful.
Because if it had, I would never have won this. I barely had 3 bars of health when I finally killed this abomination. But what happened afterward is hardly what I would call a reward. Okay, here's a big exposition dump.
Oh, fucking hell.
I've been trying to keep my promise and suppress this memory for years, but it seems as if I have to get it off my chest.
I was walking through the woods one night and then the moon split in half and Brian Cox fell into the lake and turned into a monster, and also I was a moth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't need to say it now, that's it. Okay. This is a painful memory for me, but the game already knows about it, and I think you should too. I'll just tell you the important parts, because I don't like bringing this experience back into my head unless I have to. Back when I was in middle school, I had a girlfriend named Melissa.
Oh,
She suffered from some kind of mental disorder that caused her to go into episodes.
As an aside, some Microsoft employee is just checking on the various streams that are happening on the PowerPoint site, and they're getting this with no sound. I'm just so confused right now.
why are they? Who are these 3 people staring at Mothra, fighting some sort of creature for 20 minutes?
When she was in an episode, she would stand or sit perfectly straight and still, and her face would instantly lose any expression she had before. Oh, it's convenient plot disorder.
Yeah.
She would speak very clearly, without any hint of emotion. When it was over, she would start trembling and sometimes bury her face in her hands, and remain silent for several minutes. I can't really convey the feeling it gave me in words, and I won't try. You had to see this in person to understand. But despite this, she was a very kind person, and I cared about her dearly. We liked to hang out in a field at night and look at the stars. But one night the moon fell on her after it cracked. But one night she didn't say anything to me at all. She just stared directly at the moon, trembling. This is Brian Cox's secret door.
Yeah, it's me, Melissa Cox. I also sound the exact same.
I tried to talk to her, but she suddenly sprung up and ran right into traffic.
She didn't wait for the man to go red or green. And I ran over and said, "I love you, Fiverr."
No, this is America. It's gonna be. She was jaywalking.
She was.
I tried to
It's an
stop
offense.
her, but I was too late. She got arrested and was executed by lethal injection the next day. No, she got hit by a truck and was killed that night.
That
I looked
night?
her right. No. I looked her right in the eyes when the wheels went over her neck.
Jesus.
That sight has always haunted me. I
And
know
that's
that
and it was at that moment I said, "I love Godzilla."
I know that the game knows about this because after I defeated the Moon Beast, this happened.
Video of getting run over.
This is your warning.
Is it? Hit me with it.
Holy shit.
Fuck you!
Wow.
Yeah, it's me, the jump scare. No, don't do it again. Okay, I'm prepared for it now.
Oh fuck, it's just doing it by itself.
Some person in Microsoft is watching this, just happened to have a friend called Melissa who died when
I
they were
can't
young.
believe I looked up-
It's watching this flashing up now.
Wait, is that what? Wait, hold on. Put on the face again.
Oh, you have to go back a couple of times.
No. Oh, kill. That's what it's saying. Oh, right. So there was a glitchy. Oh, I see. Oh, right. I see.
Yeah. The mood in this room is being sort of distorted somewhat by the fact that Elle is playing "Children" by Robert Miles very loudly through in the other room. After that, the game went back to the board screen. It was all I could do not to burst out screaming, and my hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the controller. I knew the game was going to test me if I kept playing, but I had no idea it would go so far, or that it was even capable of doing what it just did. I could feel my brain going haywire as I asked myself, did the game just read my mind? That didn't seem possible. What other explanation was there? It was then that I could no longer deny what now seemed obvious. The game is alive.
Yeah, that's the only
Fucking
reason it can
Finally
be.
got there. Well done.
Although he
Well
missed
done,
it.
unnamed protagonist.
Why not
Finally
haunted?
figured it out.
Haunted is more like logical than alive.
Well, we could postulate that the game is a virus. You know, it's neither dead nor alive, but it's fucking up his life. You know. Anyway, the game is alive. This game is alive, and not only that, it can also establish some kind of mental connection with the player. And yet, I couldn't convince myself to stop playing. I didn't know if it was the game messing with my mind or just my stubborn curiosity, but even with the previous revelation, I really wanted to see this through to the end, even more than I did before I beat dementia. I forgot about that world, dementia. Terrifying as it may be, even dangerous, I knew that if I quit playing, I would never be able to stop thinking about it. If I tried to restart the game, it might go back to being normal again. Sorry, I just heard a very loud noise. Came from the laptop. How many people ever get to witness something like this firsthand, let alone be able to take screenshots of the whole thing? Fucked up as it was, this was the experience of a lifetime.
Is it maybe a black screen, by the way? I should just throw that out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But even so, I couldn't take any chances with my health. Oh, I forgot about his safety precautions, right.
Yeah, you need to have an OSHA manual when dealing with the Godzilla NES video game cartridge.
He's got a little card next to him with like pictures of what to do in certain situations when playing the NES Godzilla Creepypasta. Like the fucking airline thing. I had the TV remote right next to me, ready to turn the TV off in case I felt it was in actual danger. And if that didn't work, I would pull the plug out of the wall or just run out of the room. Surely, that would be enough.
This is the plot of that Jumanji remake. So they get sucked into the game and have to fight Godzilla or something.
Unnamed protagonist. An arm reached out of the TV and pulled him aside. Who are you? He said. We are the cheetah. No. Whatever powers this game has,
Quote
seem to be
unquote.
confined to what it can show on the TV, and whatever its mental connection could do. The latter was what worried me. I still didn't know what I was dealing with, so I wasn't about to underestimate it. I took a break for a few minutes to calm my nerves, and then it was back to the game. And speaking of TVs, it's just this sudden tone change. There was a TV screen icon right before the white forest I just left, and because the first animation was so bizarre, I figured I'd try another to see what happens. Although I expected the same animation, I actually got a... What?
Steven, are you muted? Sorry, I was just...
No, he's just asleep.
Yes, I've got food.
Oh, right, okay.
Although I expected the same animation, I actually got a totally different one.
Okay.
I actually got a totally... Fuck... Gee, why is it... Hold on.
What? What's
It's not
happening?
working.
Oh, right, I thought...
Right. I I actually got a totally different one. There we go. So that's where this image comes into play. That's it. It's just a TV thing again.
Oh, right, it's this thing.
Did you just pass out for a second there?
No, I was checking to make sure Brian. I keep paranoidly checking to make sure I haven't brought Brian up, and then I pulled it back and he was just there, being a fisherman.
Right. Is that too loud? Because there are songs that are this loud.
Is this meant to be scary?
No, it's just
Okay,
weird.
good.
It's hilarious. It's just a creepy TV image. Or weird. Well, he even says, weird. The music for this one was the Neptune board music. Fitting, I suppose, since it's a fishman and all. I can't help but wonder what the point of these things are. There was one more TV screen icon, so I figured it must have a unique animation of its own. I was going to make sure to see what it was before I left the entropy. Then it was time for another level. The gold brick icon was the closest thing, so I went to that and started in a gold labyrinth level.
Okay.
My health and power were refilled. Not sure how or why, but I guess it was just Deus Ex Machina. But I was glad to not be heading in the unknown nearly dead. I also noticed that my Mothra Spite had hold on.
A Mothra Spite.
My Mothra Spite had shrunk to half its original size.
Or maybe the map had gotten twice as big. You didn't think of that.
Or maybe the TV screen had gotten twice as big.
Maybe... Oh yeah, I did realise I'm now playing this in a cinema.
That's that mental connection the game has with the viewer.
Yeah. It bought me a new TV.
I thought it was just some sort of weird glitch. Right, anyway. The music was a slow, ominous drum beat. Ominous.
Yeah.
With female
to her
vocals
ominous
kicking
is.
in about a minute into it. Quite
Oh.
haunting. Spoilers, there are no female vocals in this version of the song.
Oh.
Oh, there they are, hold on. There are.
Quantify.
Quantify!
There you go.
Oh, there it is, sorry. Just sounds like someone running their hand on the edge of a wet glass. The gold labyrinth itself was an anomaly. I'm not sure how this level would have played it if I was using Godzilla or Angarius, but because flying seemed necessary just to get around this place.
Yeah.
Another thing that caught my attention was that when you go left, your monster actually turns and faces the left.
Oh,
Oh
revolutionary.
my god, it's just
I like-
another thing that's haunted about this fucking game.
Yeah, that's what it says. Like,
You
this
can
game is
turn
clearly
left
this game
NES
is
game?
is clearly alive and haunted. Oh my! But you know, turning left—that's just too far.
Right. That sounds stupidly obvious, but in the original game you were only supposed to move to the right, so that when you tried to move left, your monster ended up walking/flying backwards. This level was apparently gigantic in size. Sorry, I'm really tired. Because every time I thought I'd reach an end to it, or thought I was going to end up back where I started, I encountered something totally new.
Oh,
Things
oh
like lava
Jesus!
blockades
Easter Island heads.
and statue faces.
Oh, look at all this! Look at this.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's done a lot of work for this.
It's like holiday slides.
Yeah.
And this is us sitting next to the beach, and this is us parasailing.
Here's us at
There's
the
me
lake of
standing next to
fire.
a strange face. There's my mate Sunman, he came along for the trip. Made
This is
friends with
basically
him.
Greece, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the Greece level, basically.
Like,
In
yeah.
fact, I can verify this is exactly what Greece is like. Can confirm I was actually the crazy sun with tentacles. And I found one statue face at a dead end with a wide, open-eyed stare.
Ooh,
Wide, open-eyed stare.
don't
Looks like
look
it's
at me, Mothra.
Looks like he's just opened the tax bill.
No, his explanation for this is even better. The night Melissa died, she had an expression on her face that looked exactly like the time.
What?
And so the author reveals this revelation that Melissa is in fact 8-bit.
And bald.
He has dementia, so sometimes he forgets to tell us these details.
I've just realised this game, there has very little to do with Godzilla.
I know. That's what I like about it. It verges so far away from Godzilla and becomes like its own game.
Like,
I really like that.
Like, at this point, you could just, like, replace Mothra with a sprite of himself.
Yeah. I know exactly. It is, well, it gets worse.
Oh.
It does verge very heavily into sort of nerd wish fulfillment territory.
There's actually the streambulance.
There was also a siren in the background of the song that I found quite soothing.
1 to 5.
Even when she got hit by the truck, she still had that same expression. I thought her head got crushed by the truck. How did you know?
Well, like, splatted onto him.
Melissa.
The face flew off.
It popped out of the skull and just went dead.
With that expression.
Hello, I'm dead now, protagonist.
Nicolas Cage was there, the accident went, wow, looks like her face off.
It's like the face you have when you're getting a haircut. It's just like,
Yeah.
Looks like the truck blew my face off. Anyway.
Very good.
I can't help but feel like something really is staring at me from behind the screen when I look at this. 'Cause it's so 8-bit, it's
It's staring.
9-bit.
The 9th color has been discovered.
I really didn't want to be reminded of that night anymore, so I left the statue almost as soon as I found it. I needed to find the exit anyway, which proved to be no simple task. It felt like this level stretched on forever in all directions. Much like the middle of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Best bit of the book.
I must have wandered around the level for at least 15 minutes.
Oh,
15 minutes? I would just put the fucking game down,
Yeah,
mate.
I feel like-
I don't care that it's sending crazy messages to me.
I feel like
And-
fuck Melissa.
and giving me clues about Melissa. Like,
You know,
probably spent at least 2 hours playing this.
God closes the door, opens the window. You know, I'm done with that.
And he's only on level 5. He's on level 5.
Actually, he's on level 10.
I must have wandered around the level for at least 15 minutes before I finally saw something.
What the hell? Ah, yes.
Seen that? She's just laughing at pens.
It's upturned fish, man.
Yeah, I didn't even know what the fucking joke was. I was just like, okay, that's one of Ben's stupid phrases. Next, and then Aaron? It's because you've got similar names. I'm sorry.
Same
Aaron is
person,
just fucking-
hypothesis confirmed.
Sorry. Well, actually, I've never seen Elle and Aaron in a room in the same. Wait, actually, I have.
What the fuck are you blind?
No. If you think back, because I was there. If you think back, and did you think like it was weird how Elle kept excusing herself to leave, and then Aaron would come in, like through the same door as well? It was a good thing.
And then she goes, top of the morning to you, it's me, Elle, and then, hello, I'm Elle.
Top of the morning. What the fuck?
Excellent. I'm glad I was able to say that joke without you getting annoyed. Apologies to any Irish people watching the stream that would be offended by that. Right. Anyway, right. So his revelation about this image is,
Oh, it's Melissa. It's what she looked like after she got hit by the car.
hi, protagonist, I'm dead now. Do you like my new nose? I got it free on the NHS. This is the kind of plastic surgery we're getting after Brexit. It was a creature
Plot
that
twist is actually
wasn't
to the right.
gold. Seemingly the only one of its kind in the level. Lacking any kind of hover ability like the other creatures, it just walked back and forth on the platform. Oh, poor creature. But it wasn't long after I found it that a flying machine swooped down and grabbed it and then flew off with it.
Ah, it's Melissa.
Okay. The entire game is Melissa confirmed. The machine apparently had not seen me, so I decided to follow it and see where it was taking the creature. The machine stopped at a room with a large cauldron-like object in the center. The machine hovered over to the cauldron and dropped the creature into it.
Godzilla.
The creature came emerged from a hole in the cauldron side. now adored in the same gold color as everything else. The machine flew off. I was glad to have the experience of doing potions class. I'm not really sure what to make of this, but I'm glad I came upon it because I found the exit soon after.
Was this the exit? Is this level finally over?
Yeah. Yeah, finally. Like, we must have been there for at least 20 minutes.
Probably 22 minutes and 55 seconds.
When I got back to the board, I realised that the bosses hadn't moved at all. A bit odd, but it didn't bother me, and
Okay,
it doesn't matter to anyone who doesn't understand the game's mechanics. I'm sure it would have been really creepy if you played Godzilla, but, you know, it isn't.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's barely a Godzilla creepypasta anymore.
I know. It made my... What?
I was just thinking, like, at this point, call a friend over, you know, have a witness.
Yeah, who was the guy that sold him to get Mike or whatever?
Yeah,
This is all Mike's fault.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, Ouija board for that.
Well, maybe this game is the Ouija board. Ah, foreshadowing. Anyway.
We're like 5
bit
shadowing,
odd.
right?
A bit odd, but it didn't bother me. It made planning my route through Entropy easier. For whatever reason. There were still 2 new icons to explore. The Indigo Cliffs and a black version of the Labyrinth.
Is that what
The
is it meant
Indigo
to be black?
Plateau.
It's the enemy version of the Labyrinth. Since there were only 3 black Labyrinth icons, which were surrounded by bosses, I played the Indigo Cliffs first.
Oh.
It was a lot like the blue/green mountains.
Almost
Except
as if
it's almost as if I took purple mountains and put it in a thesaurus.
it's almost as if I did a lazy palette swap because I was running out of wait, no.
This game is haunted, it has unlimited storage, man.
Guys, I'd like you to take a minute to listen to this fucking background music.
Okay. Yeah.
Trust the
great.
music to stop playing the flute the minute I fucking
Great,
check.
fantastic. I love it. 10 out of 10.
My favourite
John
so
Cage, 433.
Right, everyone's... There we go.
Oh. Let me crank it up a bit. Soldier Boy.
It's just like someone practicing a recorder.
This is the
Right.
worst cover of Smoke on the Water I've ever heard.
Right, here we go. I'll wait for the next loop of the song. Oh, come on!
It knows L.
Oh,
It's like someone just pissing about in the keyboard. I think the OST creator got a bit bored with this one.
play him off, keyboard cat.
This is
Play
the
us
music you
out.
started
Here's-
writing after playing.
Play
the
us out.
Godzilla
Here's
game.
the Indigo Cliffs. Maybe that's why Bill O'Reilly got so annoyed. That's the song that's playing them out. Anyway, the level graphics had the same shredded look to it. There's also a recolor of the clouds and moon from the toxic waste dump. The music, if you can call it that, was merely a deep rumbling noise. I was tone deaf to the flutes as well. One of the first things I encountered were these multicolored
Aw.
creatures with big heads emerging from a small cave in the
I like
ground.
them.
Trypophobia call out right there.
Ben,
Hello.
don't get attached to those creatures.
Aw. Why? I'm naive, why?
They all made a synchronized shaking sound, and they walked to the right in a group after emerging from the cave, ignoring me.
They dancing.
Having no other way to go, I followed them on their route. More and more emerged from the cave until the group had about 100 creatures. The fucking strain on the
100?
processor.
Like, yeah, that NES
The
chip
NES
would be
fucking
lagging.
set on fire, yeah.
Be flickering, sprites would be dancing in and out. It'd be like playing
Yeah.
Gradius.
Lavender theme song
Well-
will start playing.
Well, as we've established, these fucking haunted cartridges can just, you know, just have massive processing speed. Anyway, eventually, the pathway ended in a cliff.
Oh, shit!
They're this game's equivalent of lemmings, basically.
It's an urban myth! Disney! They heard it off the cliff! Disney!
Well,
I hope you got
so
that.
you have your Alex Jones evidence, and
Yeah.
I have the fucking evidence from this game.
Ah,
That's
yes.
what happens. These are lemmings.
If games were exactly like real life, I would. Yes. the
These are
giant moth.
lemmings. Qued.
Qued.
Qued. I was shocked to see that upon reaching the cliff, all the creatures began jumping off into the abyss. I've seen enemies walk off cliffs before, but I've never seen NPCs commit mass suicide like this. Very unsettling way to start off a level. I continued on, flying over various strange animals like the ones shown here. Like, why did he go to the bother of drawing these sprites when he was never
Yeah,
going to
like,
use them again?
you're going to see them for about all of 3 seconds as you scroll past
I
them.
know.
You probably spent hours dedicated. Oh god, okay.
Another group of multicolored bobbleheads was jumping up and down, only to be snatched up by large birds, which I'm fairly certain are sprite versions of the giant condor from Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Look,
Oh!
there's Godzilla again!
Yes!
Finally. I gotta say, those birds look like they have the accent of the T word that we use all the time.
Hey, check out my talons.
Talons.
What you buying?
What are you selling?
Hello, I'd like to buy one suicide, please. That's now what all the bobbleheads sound like. They're all Zoidberg from Futurama.
Is that what? I sounded like fucking Yakov Smirnov. Like...
Okay.
In Soviet Russia? No. God.
In Soviet Russia, life ends you. Anyway, I defeated some of the condors in battle, but it bothered me that these bobbleheads seem to be so eager to die, as if the game itself is alive. Perhaps the creatures in these levels are also alive, and some have very unhappy lives, if this behavior is any indication. But what provokes them to do this? In the back of my mind, I almost suspect the glowing moon in the sky is the reason. For
The glowing what?
oh my god, the moon is purple!
That can't be a moon. The moon is on. It's oh shit! It's better be a bit racist there. It's better do Brian Cox racism there.
Oh god!
Because he only recognizes the Earth moon, the white moon, as the right one. But then I realized that would sound very bad if I actually said.
We established already that Titan is Brian Cox's favorite moon.
Oh yeah, well that's probably. What color is that?
Not purple.
Methane.
Holly's head has almost fallen off the shelf. Apparently she likes sleeping that way, so who am I to judge? Anyway, right. Blah blah, unfounded claim about glowing moon. At the end of the level, I saw yet another group of the bobbleheads marching up to a large monster and being devoured.
Devouring, not shown.
This was starting to disgust me. So acting on impulse, I fired off eye-beams at both the monster and the bobbleheads. I destroyed the cave. So well done, you killed them anyway. What
You killed their
achieved
home.
by that? Yeah.
You've trapped them underground forever.
The monster became angry and ran through the remaining bobbleheads to fight me.
I thought Mothra had picked up the monster with his mouth.
Although it lacked any ranged attacks, it was relentless. I'm just imagining it sitting there going, "Come on then, come on, fight me, come down here, fight me. Fight me, you just killed my dinner. What you doing?" But it was no match for me. I was in the home stretch now, up to the bosses. My plan was to go through Batra first, then Megalon.
Ah, thanks for the game plan in the haunted video game.
After that, I would watch the last TV screen, play the Black Labyrinth before fighting Mecha Godzilla. And lastly, going through the chase with the Hellbeast. I was curious to see if it'd be a new form again. But first things first, time to beat up Batra. He's a
Hi.
As I expected, he started off in his larva form. The music was Varan's battle theme. It is. Whenever the game puts in a new Godzilla kaiju with more than one form, that other form always shows up. For a game that's otherwise inexplicable, it's rather startling in its consistency and accuracy with the new kaiju bosses. See, this is the only part of the game that stays true to the theme of Godzilla. All the kaijus are like in there, and they're all really well programmed, and they're all really, really well explained. So there's your time. Anyway.
Well, actually, if you've seen Godzilla Return to Space Part 3, you'll find that Batra actually has 18 legs.
That's actually right enough, Stephen. So this guy's now cancelled. The fight started off simple. Larva Batra fought in a similar fashion as Maguma did, whoever they are, charging back and forth and occasionally firing off lightning from its horn, not shown here. During the fight, I noticed that Mothra's combat capabilities can be altered in my favour. The I-beams did 2 times as much damage as they did originally.
By golly!
Now they were as strong as Godzilla's punches. The poison powder
God.
was similarly improved. It actually inflicted bad poison rather than normal poison as in the Pokemon games. It also did this nice thing where it would actually hit an enemy when you used it. Burn for the original Godzilla game, guys.
Yep.
In the original game, even though Mothra could fly, she was unable to fly over an opponent. You would get knocked back in the same way as if you just ran straight into them, which is extremely annoying, but not anymore. I could change direction and fly around, which was a big help because fighting Imago Batra is much like fighting a clone Mothra, although Batra is distinctly faster and stronger. No longer impeded by its slow-moving larva form, Imago Batra was a fearsome opponent.
Fearsome.
Although it lacked the horn lightning, it now had a new, more powerful eye.
The sprite is looking to the left!
Back out!
Ben, can you stop telling me about that? Because it's making me really unsettled, okay?
Oh yeah, it's the scariest part of this.
Batra could change direction just like I could. This battle involved a lot of flipping and flying around. It was pretty damn fun, to be honest.
This video game's fun. Holy shit.
This video game's fun and haunted. It's got something for the whole family. Also, have you noticed, you talk quite a lot about Mothra being buffed, so maybe it was a good thing that the only character he got was Mothra. Maybe Faith isn't so bad as we think he is.
Maybe we'll get to play through Mothra for the rest of the game.
So after defeating Batra, I was excited to see what Megalon would be like. But first I went through an Indigo Cliffs level and shot through a lot of the creatures for the health power-ups, killing even more fucking bobbleheads. Fucking genocidal maniac. Anyway. So about Megalon. His music was Gigan's theme. Makes sense, since Gigan was his battle partner and Megalon's one, and so far only, film appearance. He was all like Megara, but faster and with more weapons. He started out charging off with his drills, as you can see here. I like to fly back and forth around him, which seemed to really annoy him. Stupid Megara, or the other one.
Megalon. Says on the screen.
Oh yeah, Megalon, sorry. Oh yeah, right enough. Didn't notice that. Cool. So creepy. After a few seconds, he'd step back, turn around, and start spitting out grenades. Those were a pain because they bounced when they hit the round finger quotes.
Oh, you could tell the guy was really angling for like a ROM hack of Godzilla to be made for this.
Yeah. Well, a guy is working on a ROM hack.
Oh, fuck
There is
off.
a guy working on a ROM hack as we speak.
Is it the author?
No, it's a different guy. It's a guy who actually knows how to program games.
It's just like, I don't need long paragraphs of game mechanic descriptions in my horror.
This is the most boring part of the game.
In my horror fanfiction.
Lastly, he started spamming his lightning beam. It only went straight forward, so it was easy to duck under it and then shoot him with I-beams. Overall, I describe him as strong, persistent, but dumb. Oh, okay, here we go. I was now nearing the end of entropy. I'd just taken down Megalon, and I started up the last TV screen. See what I get this time. The result was unpleasant.
Oh god.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. The music for this gruesome scene was the password theme. I couldn't figure out why this animation was so sinister and violent in comparison to the other two. The whole game seemed to be growing more malevolent. As I went on to finish Entropy, I began to feel drained. It's hard to describe. Like I suddenly became tired when I wasn't before. Almost as if time was passing. You idiot. Most likely it was just the tension from all that had happened in this game getting to me. But who knows?
If you go back a slide, Paul, I'm picturing that guy is his head is actually on sideways, so the top hole is with left eye.
I know, I know. It's really
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. I love this image of the person getting strapped to the bed and then having their face fucking blown off. Anyway,
Fucking hell.
the last level on Entropy is what I call the Shadow Labyrinth. The scenery was recolored from gold to black.
It's called Shadow, and ironically, there's no light. Ooh.
The music was an evil ambience. Similar to the Unforgiving Cold loop, but distinctly different. In that it was lower and more slow.
Distinctly different, but distinctly similar.
I know, I love that. I love it when bad authors use that in a sentence. It was similar, but different.
It was quite unique.
But also not unique. The music was my first sign that this level was going to be distressing. I travelled through the maze for about a minute, and I noticed there wasn't any creatures hovering around. I took out the cartridge, blew on it, and put it back there. That would be the sensible thing to do.
This is clearly bullshit. Mothra is clearly hovering around right there.
Yeah, I know. It was an odd transition from the Gold Labyrinth, which was overrun with creatures. To this level that had nothing at all. Nothing at all. Then this might be a good thing. Maybe there wouldn't be any obstacles and I could get through the level with ease. Oh, sorry.
What have you done?
Hold on.
What have you done?
Then the screen went dark.
And Mothra
And
folded up.
immediately I snapped out of my daze from a few seconds earlier. Everything had been darkened, so the only thing I could see was the Mothra sprite. I couldn't tell where I was going and ended up frantically running into walls. I heard a noise.
Like an actual moth.
Yeah, I heard a noise, the sound of a crowd running through a hallway.
What? It was Melissa. No.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. And along with the running came the roars. Loud roaring sounds, what I describe as something like a rabid dog the size of an elephant. How do you know what size it is? Woof, 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 I'm an elephant. You have a balloon there that you fucking did the thing.
It was an elephant.
Hello, I'm a rabid dog the size of an elephant.
Oh, it's Clifford.
Yeah,
That's his name, right?
It's
Clifford?
Rabid Clifford.
Oh,
What have they done to you, And it is the red labyrinth, right?
Clifford, the absolute unit.
He is an absolute unit.
The original absolute unit.
I fucking hated that show.
They never dealt with the size of his shit in that show. I think that's a missed opportunity.
No, they say it in the fucking theme song.
Oh,
Love made
my
Clifford
God.
grow so big, which implies that no one can love their dog as much as that girl loves Clifford.
Love you, Clifford.
So if you have a dog, you don't fucking love it because it's small.
I can just-
Which one of your dogs did a shit in?
It was me.
All's fucking money is. Which one of you did a shit and submerged my house? Disgusting.
Local dog takes shit, kills 5.
Clifford must be so. He's a kaiju, isn't he? He's like he would be a kaiju,
Fucking
giant
is,
dog.
yeah. He would be a very small kaiju, though. To be fair, he's only like a house size. He's not building sized.
Yeah,
He'd be like Godzilla's pet, his pet rat.
not his pet dog, surely.
He's not big enough. He's not big enough to be a dog. No, he'd keep Clifford in a wee cage.
Ah, yes, I love that show, Clifford the Big Red Rat.
Oh, Clifford, you just gnaw your way through the fucking sewage pipe again.
Wait, no, that's Stewie. Raggy?
Scoob and Shaggy, which one of yous took this shit?
Let's go over the clues. Ah yes, Scooby snacks.
Like, Zoink, Scoob, it wasn't me!
Zoink, Scoob.
What? No one, please close that door, El. I don't want to hear Katy Perry again. Yes, as long as I don't hear
Last
Katy Perry.
Friday night. Okay.
You're in bed. What the
No.
fuck?
I was doing a bit of Katy Perry,
At the end
but then I forgot the lyrics.
We took too many shots. We may have kissed, but I forgot last Friday.
Last Friday night, do it all again. Anyway,
It wasn't. It was hot and cold anyway.
all right.
Hot, hey,
Hot and cold.
something you can, hot and cold.
So anyway, how about that Mothra?
I have a feeling that Aaron is enjoying this stream a lot, this recording a lot more than the last one.
What are you talking about?
Primarily
The last
because
one?
they're not
This is
actually
one
fucking
seamless
reading
thing.
Yeah. Welcome to hour 6 of the. The LRM Horror-thon.
4
It's
o'clock in
the
the
AM.
morning.
We're still
Elle's
going.
still somehow carving a pumpkin. Now. Elle's on her 20th pumpkin. Where are all these pumpkins coming from? The game is haunted. Right.
It's a me, Mothra. There, that's your segue, Paul. Go. I don't think Mothra would be Italian. Clearly, another sign that this game is haunted.
She's Italian and she turns left? What? Wait, hold on. Oh, that's that's a very scary pumpkin.
What is it? Describe the pumpkin and don't say.
If it's got
It
Mothra
sort
carved into
it
it.
sort of
It's
looks
orange
like
and it's round.
it sort of looks like an anime pumpkin.
Aw.
Yeah, send it to Ben, Stephen, and Aaron on Facebook.
Like the actual pumpkin or a picture of the pumpkin?
Well, now in 2019, you can actually send pumpkins over the internet. Anyway, screaming with fury, and I could tell that whatever was making this noise, there were lots of them. I knew there was something there, but it wasn't until I did some screen cap editing that I got to see what my pursuers looked like.
Hit me with it.
Oh, that was a good transition, actually. It's the
Oh,
same
they're
image.
wearing hoods.
Yeah.
They remind me of something, but I don't know what.
Oh, yeah.
It does, and that's annoying.
Neds.
Alright, mate. Alright, Mothra.
Alright, Mothra, I pure love your wings. He's a shot of them, man. I swear, I'm fae the gold labyrinth. I'm no fae the shite shadow labyrinth. See, I've gradually realised the thing that really just sort of sets Aaron off is the Ned voice.
Alright.
Oh man, check out my hoodie.
it's a Beebus. It's like Adidas, but it's better.
I am a big brother, said it's great. He got it on his last trip to Romania.
It's Turkmenistan's finest.
Oh, you got yours from Turkmenistan. I only got mine from Uganda.
The worst thing about being Ned Demons is that you can't put on trainers.
Oh, I'm pure fucking starving. I've got the munchies. You got any of those bobbleheads?
Quick, let me put on some happy hardcore music.
The music actually stopped looping. Sorry, because we were watching.
I'm sitting at the bus playing some happy hardcore out of my Motorola.
So that's a sneak peek of the happy hardcore Mecha Godzilla theme. Right, that's enough. Finish this fucking story, okay?
No.
But at the time, I couldn't see where they
I
were,
lost my
where I
dog
was
Clifford.
going.
Have you seen him?
I was literally running blind, and this mob of beasts eventually caught up with me. All I could think was, no! As I saw my life bar rapidly declining. The monsters taking me down to half of my total health, but I was saved. The light came back on, and the attackers had disappeared, because we all know Neds hate the light.
Nice.
Oh man, it blinds my eyes. And so the challenge of this level was revealed. Find the exit before the lights go out, and a pack of Neds maul you to death. I was in panic mode now, moving as fast as I could go, while trying every path I could find for a way out. As I played through the level, the lights went out a total of 3 times. The second time I would have been dead meat had it not been for one of the wide-eyed statues.
It's me, Mullet. Wait, no. Wrong character.
As I stayed close to it, the monsters seemed to all avoid me until the light came back. Do you see what the game's doing? It's making him stay next to the thing that unsettles him.
Ah, yes.
Anyway, the statue warded them away somehow. I was safe as long as I stayed near the statue, but at the same time I had to leave to find the exit. Bye, Melissa. The Shadow
See ya.
Labyrinth... Thanks, Melissa. The Shadow Labyrinth turned out to be much smaller than the Gold Labyrinth, as it only took about 6 minutes to navigate. 6 minutes! Come on!
Just fucking frisbee the cart or jerk the window.
Yeah, it's like you'll get more enjoyment out of it that way.
You know what? Throw it in front
I
of a
threw the
truck.
cart-
It's
I
how
threw-
Melissa would have wanted it.
I threw the cart out. I threw the cart out the window. It took 20 minutes to reach the ground, somehow. But before the exit, there was a row of halls leading straight down with no way out once entered. You either got to the exit before the monsters reached you, or you died.
Oh.
Oh dear.
What happens if you
Thankfully, I
die?
made it out. You have to start the level again.
Oh,
God.
right.
Only
no,
one
yes.
more boss, Mecha Godzilla, or should I say, Happy Hardcore Godzilla. I started the battle and got something unexpected.
Oh, it's OG Godzilla.
Yeah,
It's-
it's IRL Godzilla. IRL Godzilla. Not only did my life shoot back up to 100% again, creepy. It seems to do that randomly. Instead of a replacement boss, I was fighting Godzilla. But any Godzilla fan worth their salt can figure this out. Mecha Godzilla started off like fighting a clone Godzilla, but as this guy burned away after only 3 life bars. Usually,
It turned into
usually a transformation only occurs at
Bridezilla, yeah.
halfway point. Yeah. At this point, it was like fighting Mechagodzilla in the normal game. Dirk felt kind of nice to fight one of the original game enemies for a change. Although he wasn't exactly like normal, he also had a rainbow beam and finger missiles. Oh, finger missiles.
I thought it was just like a gun.
Yeah. This prevented me from doing the old trick of backing him in the corner and hitting him with I-beams in a spot where he can't hit me. But that was always a trick cheap anyways. Something I've noticed about creepypasta authors is they always use anyways as a suffix instead of anyways.
I'm pretty sure there's just like one creepypasta author and they just write everything. Next,
know
I'll
who-
talk about my blood whistle experience.
The Hellbee said, "I know who you are, Reed Murdoch. I know you haven't been able to sleep the past few days."
No, my necro sleep. Wait, no.
Oh,
I need
my
it.
necro sleep!
Read more like. Read more. Read Murdoch more like Deed Murdoch. For more information, watch our Necro Sleep Saga video.
Thanks. That's good. That's a good non sequitur. But after getting him down to half his health, something weird started to happen. His sprite started to glitch in much the same way as the Zora had way back in the first world. After a few seconds, the glitches began to form into a new shape.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Hit me with it.
Oh god.
Hello, it is me.
Hello, it's me, Uncanny Valley.
I'm Dog Faceman.
It's Clifford the Big Red Dog in County Form.
Clifford, what have they done to you?
Clifford the Big Red Human.
Oh no, it's Clifford, the large grey mecha. And Clifford is spelt with like a 1 instead of an I and stuff like that.
Yeah. Clifford the large grey mecha, because large is a more intelligent word than big, am I right? And thus the game had created not Mecha Godzilla, sorry, it's Clifford now, and I discovered that this visual glitch was somehow related to the game recreating things. The human face on this one gives it a very uncanny look. It looks like one of the, like, there were hundreds of, like, really bad quality sci-fi shooter games on the NES, and half the bosses were just, like, body horror sort of things, and this sort of reminds me of that. It's pretty cool, actually.
No, it's Melissa.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's Melissa. It was one of the stronger replacement monsters, and it had the most firepower. Pictured here is its mouth beam, which I got caught in the middle of.
Jesus.
I know,
Still
right?
doesn't. I missed caught.
There's a lot
Yes.
of phallic imagery in this game.
No. Oh yes, the phallus, well known for residing in the mouth. But
Something's really nice. I missed that.
no, nothing. Just go ahead.
Okay. Right, what did you say?
Nothing.
What did you say, man?
I told a really good knock joke. You want to hear it? Knock.
He's there.
Knock.
Who's there?
Doorbell.
Doorbell who?
Knock.
You do realize I'll just find this out on the video anyway.
That's true, but I want to make you work. I just mentioned that the dingus does not usually reside within the mouth of the human.
The dingus.
The pee-pee.
Your pee-pee.
The gentleman. The general.
Hello,
The
monster. Would you
conquistador.
like to see my conquistador?
The French press, wait.
So if you assume that the Clifford, the big grey human's penis is, you know, anatomically correct and therefore pink, that's a big fucking mouth penis.
I think you're the only one that's assuming that he has a penis.
Even though it was a bit stronger, it was also slower than its original counterpart. I couldn't
Just-
jump around
I'm
as
just
much.
picturing the episode of South Park, the Red Rocket episode.
Can we please move on? I don't want to hear this music anymore.
Okay.
It's good though.
I won the fight by constantly staying out of its line of fire, bombarding the machine with poison. These capitalized poison power, like it's a fucking Pokemon move.
It's a fucking
As I flew
robot.
over
Why
it.
would poison work on a robot?
And steel types are immune to poison.
Oh, fuck off.
One last thing to do. The Hell Beast chase.
Oh,
Boy.
all right, yeah, this guy.
Might as well just get it over with, I thought.
Oh. Yeah, I'm the walls now.
The entropy end chase ended up being exactly what I was afraid it would be, a labyrinth level. All the other chases, although difficult, were extremely straightforward. You just had to run to the right and not get touched. But this took all the simplicity out of it. There was no telling how big this labyrinth would be, or where the exit was. And now, not only did I have to constantly backtrack to find my way out, I also had to avoid getting one-hit killed by the red monster. For those first 30 seconds... Oh, fucking hell. And for those first 30 seconds, it didn't show up. But I knew it would. And as I started picking up the pace, I heard a loud flapping noise.
Yeah, I'm a god. Oh, wait, no. Wrong.
Alright, mate, I'm a bud!
Yeah.
I'm a bud, mate. My talons.
All joking aside, I was listening to this song earlier today. I love this song.
Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good tune, isn't it? It's a good tune. And there it was in a flying form. It flew with bat-like wings and was as fast and relentless as ever. For reasons already stated, this is probably the most nerve-wracking of all the end chases. And as such, I had to keep my focus on the game and not taking screen caps. However, I did take one of the red monsters doing something I found very interesting.
Want to see my butthole?
Almost. I'd managed to lose it by going through a different path than it apparently expected. And it was blocked from attacking me with one of the organic walls of the red labyrinth.
I painted all the... I put paint on my butthole and touched all the walls.
Or so I thought. The monster turned around and sprayed out of... No.
Ah! Oh god! No! We beat that game.
It tried clawing through the wall for a second before opening up its mouth and tearing the wall apart with its intestine jaws. So there we go, kind of accurate. Intestine, bum, same thing. What? Oh wow, that's a creepy Holly picture. That's cool.
This is the picture we're looking at right now. Is that right?
Yeah, this is Holly's final form.
Holly, you want some tea?
Tea time, Holly. It's like the fucking Garfield game. Bullets don't work, Mothra. But those brief milliseconds that the monster was held back might have been the key to me finding the exit. The path to exit was long and complex. But from what I remember, I went up and then back towards the left. Thank you for telling us this.
Yeah, thanks for the walkthrough for when this game was released.
Well, it's the equivalent of you reading that walkthrough for the game you didn't have then.
Look,
This is that.
look. I will fucking learn
So here's the big reveal, Ben. This is actually the Prima strategy guide for this game.
for Wild Arms 3. I knew it was familiar.
The
like
one
it.
in Wild Arms 3. I'm still not sure why I chose that particular way. Just a lucky hunch, I suppose. I was sweating profusely, but my luck had saved me yet again. I hoped that it wouldn't run out before I finished the game. There were only 2 more worlds to go. Next was the penultimate world, called Extus. That's the end of chapter 5.
Mm.
Sextus is an anagram of sexed you.